What's up? It's Bob from Home Cook Basics. Thanks for coming back to the channel. So today I have a little series on knives. If you're a beginner cook, we're going to cover what I think is the 3 essential cooking knives if you're just getting started with cooking. So if you're a beginner cook and you're just getting started, you're going to the store and you're like, what kind of knife do I need? You're looking at those big knife blocks and they got like 9 to 12 different knives. I'm telling you, you really don't need them. There's a bunch of knives in there that you're probably never going to use. So I just want to go over what I think is the most essential. So let's start off with what I think is the best knife that you need and the one I enjoy the most, and that's a chef knife. So I use an 8-inch chef knife. This one happens to be a Wusthof. So the chef knife, right? This thing is universal. You're going to be using it for everything. You chop your veggies with it. You cut up your meat. You can, you prep with it. You can cut your finished meat with it. It's just an all-around great knife. Now, if you're first to buying one, you might want to go try them out and see how they feel in your hand. They're all different. You could go to maybe a Bed Bath & Beyond or Williams Sonoma or your local kitchen store and try to feel what it feels like in your hand. I use an 8-inch chef like this. It feels real comfortable in my hand. And the thing about chef knives is you get what you pay for. So you want to, if you can, put a few more dollars into it. The Wusthof and the Henkel's are both these German-made knives. They have a stainless steel that's really strong, and it should last you a long time. If you already have a chef knife, let me know in the comments what's your favorite one or what's your favorite brand. Maybe an 8-inch or 10-inch chef knife. Just let me know in the comments. So my second favorite knife that I think is really essential is a paring knife. Like this would be the second knife I buy. If I was only going to buy one, it would definitely be the chef knife. Second knife would be a paring knife. These are very universal. They're comfortable in your hand. They're easy to use when you're trying to focus on something small. So you could, like, if you were cutting very small mushrooms or say a very small radish and you had to cut, when you're really cutting precise, the paring knife is good for that. And it's also good for paring and peeling an apple or potatoes, or if you don't have a peeler. So there's a lot of ways that a paring knife is universal. You can get out the core of some things like the stem of an apple, or it's just very universal. If you don't want to have a big honking chef knife out for something that you're doing, or maybe you're just prepping a little bit of food or even just some cheese or something with some crackers, a paring knife might be a great choice. But like I said, you definitely want the chef knife for your first knife. So those 2 knives I'll use the most. If the third knife that I think is really important, that you're not probably going to use a lot, and that's a bread knife. And the reason this is it's serrated. So you can use this, for a few different ways. But it's definitely made for bread. So if you're gonna, the benefit of this, right? So you get a crate dish. Maybe you made my chicken Florentine there, and you got a loaf of bread that you're serving with it, and you go to use a chef knife, and it's like a sponge. It pushes down the bread and wrecks it. It's just no good, right? So having a serrated knife will help you saw through that bread. And say your knives weren't too sharp and you had to cut a tomato, a serrated knife might cut that tomato a little better unless you had a very sharp chef knife. This is not a knife I use very often. I don't even have a way to sharpen the serrated edge on one of these, but it's something that I have, and a knife that I think is essential out of the top 3 knives. Guys, if you find this video useful, please subscribe down below and like the video. I'd really appreciate it. It helps this algorithm and my videos do better on YouTube. So another quick thing I want to talk about is the care of these knives, right? So if you're going to spend a little bit of money on a Wusthof or a Henkel or something, in that caliber of a knife, it's really important that you're going to hand wash these knives. You do not want to send them through a dishwasher. That's really important. So you're going to hand wash these. I hand wash them. I got a place in my cabinet that I just lay them on a towel after they're dry, and I'm good to go for the next time I need my knife. So as a beginner cook, I just want to express that it isn't really important to be super crazy with your knife and be able to chop really fast. Focus on getting a really sharp knife, because that's going to make it safer when you actually go through the food than a knife that's dull that will wobble and end up maybe cutting yourself. So focus on a sharp knife and just focus on cutting slowly. There's no race as a home cook. You're not a professional chef. There's no need to go crazy. Enjoy it. Have fun with your new chef knife and feeling more comfortable with it. Another real important part of keeping these knives is to keep them sharp. Just get yourself a basic knife sharpener. You can get this at your local kitchen store, but it's really important to keep them sharp because that edge is going to help keep your cutting more safe, and it's going to make it a lot more enjoyable to have a nice sharp edge. And it's really important when you're cooking to keep a sharp knife. It'll be amazed how dull people's knives are. I'm constantly sharpening these pretty frequently, probably once a week. Also, to keep that edge, you can hone your knife with a steel. That's something I'm going to get to in another video. So that's it, my 3 essential knives for the beginner home cook. Go with a nice chef knife. If you're going to spend a little money, if you can spend a little bit, around $100, you're not going to go wrong with a great chef knife like this, and it's really going to help your home cooking.